Okay, welcome. It is Friday Night Live with me, Sarfaraz ST, your host. Good evening, Dumelang, Goeie Hoe gaan het? Hoping you all well in good spirits and had a good week. Alhamdulillah, it has been another great day, another Jum'ah, today being the 11th of December. Wherever you are tuning in, streaming in, we welcome one and all around South Africa and around the globe as well. This is Salam Media. Welcome to Friday Night Live with me, your host, Sarfaraz ST. And tonight we're starting the program with Formula One, and we've got brother Yusuf Sahib, attorney Yusuf Sahib. How are you, my man?
What's happening?
All good. He's in the building tonight. How many bail applications have you done today?
You weren't lying about saying you could
I wasn't lying about it. No, I know. But anyway.
Well, no, none for
Oh,
me.
none. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyway.
Bit of slow Friday.
So anyway, we're going to be discussing the world of Formula One. We're ushered towards the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi. A few more days' time, and it is lots of movement happening. I mean, drivers are changing teams, cars are being tweaked, budgets are going to be allocated for the next season. It's going to be quite stringent. We're also then going to be speaking to Jan van Malen in the Tech Talk segment a bit later on at around 7:35 or so, inshallah. We're going to be talking to Jan van Malen about the new South African law. Means that you may be jailed if you forward certain types of WhatsApp messages. Yes, you heard me correct. If you forward a certain type of WhatsApp message, if it falls under a certain criteria, you could be jailed. And forwarding intimate images without consent and messages which incite violence, damage to property, could result in a jail term of up to 15 years. And we are going to be talking to Jan van Malen about this in particular with regards to the cybersecurity bill, etc., and cyber crimes bill. And then afterwards, at around 8:30 or so, in the Car Talk segment, we talk to Craig Dogan, who is a co-founder and COO of a company called Refuel Delivery. Now, they've got an app where you can order petrol from the app and have it delivered to your car, and we'll be discussing with him how it all works. Now, in the world of football, it is the Manchester Derby this weekend, and myself and the team, we are going to be discussing a whole lot of talking points in this regard. So stay tuned and keep it locked to Salam Media. We'll be back after this.
When styles precious design, platinum bracelet into the faceless, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Dara Johnson Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Proud yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and full account calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Dora Johnson Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal's Breakfast Club aims at getting warm, hearty meals for underprivileged children so they can spend the day prospering in their schoolwork. Help be the leading earner by visiting our website on www.penny.org.za or call 031 1100 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Overhead growth trade is an independent organ from Bay State, Swanka through the Inwood Railway Enterprise. We currently select from an investment development for the holistic money environment. We probably engineer this curriculum and use great investment to firm. With living facilities also available for the basic supply. Engine primitive improves within a period of personal planning by offering qualities in database education that aims to calculate. Engine credit is high serving in a healthy way from home. It's registered with the Department of Education and Planning accredited. For more information, contact us through 078 452 Social is on Facebook or Instagram or email us on telegram@infointelligence.org. This is the Toast with the Tip. A revamped exclusive restaurant and takeaway now open. Purpose strives to serve you and your family with a wide variety of delicious meals. Enjoy our famous chicken, fish, burgers, pasta, pizza, and many more weekly and slow specials. We offer Friday buffet and dry goods with the buffet. We cater for corporate functions, dinners, and events. There are facilities provided. Our exciting competition gourmet menu and new menu to be released at our launch. Visit Keepers at 225 Matthews Manuel Road, Old Stanford Road, Durban, 4031 209 0119. Keepers, the taste with a kick.
Hustle to Circle Price.
Okay, welcome. It is just about 28 minutes after 7 p.m. and it's time now for the Formula One segment. We are having a technical problem. We do apologize for the sound quality. We were laughing in the ad break about the sound quality. Him and I were sounding like chipmunks earlier. Anyway, Yusuf Sahib, you filling in for Dakir Dao tonight?
Yeah, like I told you, he's the weakest link.
Yeah, we see that.
So,
Like how Russell obviously replaced Lewis on Formula One.
Yeah, we had to do what we had to do.
No, we're just kidding, man. Dakir, wherever you are, hoping you're good, brother. Well,
your seat is still safe. Just keep it warm for you.
So tonight's talking point on Formula One, obviously, we are sharing towards the final, race of the season, the finale in Abu Dhabi. Lewis Hamilton is returning to Formula One for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix after testing negative for the COVID-19. Valtteri Bottas has accepted that he needs to be better after a difficult run of form. Also, George Russell, who replaced Hamilton last week and came apologizingly close to a shock victory. We'll be discussing Sergio Perez and Sebastian Vettel. Right. So, Yusuf Sahib.
Which one?
First things first. Lewis Hamilton returning to Formula One at the season finale. What do you make? Obviously, what a fantastic track, the Abu Dhabi.
Fantastic circuit.
Amazing
fantastic
circuit.
layout.
Everything
Yeah,
layout
incredible.
was, it's just,
And
amazing.
purpose-built.
Yes.
Hotels on the circuit,
Yeah.
floodlit.
Yeah.
I mean
The marina.
the marina
everything.
bay is right there as well. So I think just taking the sight of that place is just something else.
Taking it in is like, just awe-inspiring. Right. So, He tests negative now for COVID-19. It allows him an opportunity back.
Hmm.
Valtteri Bottas, on the other hand, saying he needs to step up and his energy is there.
Yeah.
He needs to be better. Where do you think he's slacking? We made an analogy prior to the interview, though. Remember?
Yeah, we
So-
did make that analogy and also used a few terminology that I don't think I can quite repeat right
we're
now.
not going to repeat that.
But if we can give our honest assessment of Valtteri Bottas, look, I don't think he's short in terms of performance when it comes to qualifying, and
Okay.
I think we've seen that throughout the season. They're very close, normally separated by sometimes less than a tenth of a second. So
Right.
it's agonizingly close between them, especially in the qualifying.
it
battle.
is.
But when it comes to the races itself, I think that's where Valtteri sort of falls short in comparison to Lewis Hamilton, whether it's at the start of the race or getting the race actually underway, or it comes down to tire preservation and tire management, because Lewis just seems to be quite exceptional in that regard, and he's able to extend his stints. He's able to extract more performance from the tires, whereas Valtteri, as I said, he falls a little
bit
short,
short.
in that department.
Now, obviously,
That, and you've got also
Mercedes.
coupled with the fact that Valtteri hasn't had the best of
No,
luck
hang
as
on,
well.
hang on.
So
Mercedes will give an equal opportunity to both drivers
They
as
do.
they're going to go head to head.
Yeah.
Why do you think the one is a number one and the one is a number two?
well, I think that's probably more just to sort of differentiate between car to car, but they are given an equal platform. It's not as
Okay.
if Lewis is a demarcated, clear number one
Yeah.
driver, where the team sort of rallies around him for the championship. They're both given that equal opportunity, but it's also assessed from time to time, because if you're coming towards, for instance, a back end of a season, Lewis is looks more favorable to win the championship, then the team would rally around him to prevent another driver outside of the team, for example, Leclerc or Max Verstappen, if a situation like that has to arise,
Yeah.
from potentially beating Lewis to the championship, or Valtteri, whichever one is in that order. So, I mean, up till that point, it's fair game. It's the race is it's game on, and as I said, with Valtteri, he just it's I don't know if it's bad luck. He's had so much of that, coupled with the fact that Lewis has just put in some stunning performances against him, and I think of Portimao, where Lewis was just able to preserve the tires so much better, and Valtteri's tires sort of went off or started hitting the cliff
worn
as it's
out.
called,
Yeah.
and it just became easy pickings for Lewis. Picked up his slipstream down the back straight, sailed past him, drove something like 30 seconds all the way from him. So that's
a massive
that's
lead.
dominance,
It's complete dominance.
and that obviously is not gonna. I mean, when Valtteri sits back and thinks, what happened here, he'll realize afterwards it was
Was
purely
it too hard on the corners, perhaps?
it was just down to the tires. And so while it looks to us as if they're all taking the same lines and they're doing sort of the same things through the corners, it's effectively how you feather that throttle.
Well,
So,
we want your interaction. You can send through your comments and your feedback, whichever team you are supporting in Formula One, on 0617660355. Who do you want to see win
can I
at
give my
the Abu
personal number,
Dhabi Grand Prix as well? And
No.
no, Attorney Yusuf, we're not going to give you a personal number as well. It's not going to happen. Anyway, we've discussed Valtteri Bottas and his difficult run of form. Now, the season finale in Abu Dhabi, which obviously a lot of teams are going to be gunning for. We then spoke about Sergio Perez and, where he won the Sakir race, and Red Bull could keep Sergio Perez, as obviously Albion's form is obviously dropped. We've discussed Sebastian Vettel moving to Racing Point. Now, Racing Point, in their acquisition of him as a experienced driver, what you make of them as a team?
Well, Racing Point is on the rise at the moment. Lawrence Stroll, the owner of the team, has certainly been putting a lot of focus in trying to get the team up and running along the lines of or alongside the likes of Mercedes, Red Bull, and effective from next year there will be Aston Martin racing. So they've got Aston Martin on board, and they've got Sebastian Vettel on board as well. And I mean, Sebastian Vettel's record speaks for itself. 4-time world
Correct.
champion. he comes with a wealth of experience. He's not in the greatest of form. So, Lawrence may be now looking at his decision and saying, well, I've got Sergio Perez driving the best I've ever seen him. In fact, the best, this is Sergio Perez in his prime at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you've got Sebastian Vettel was putting sort of mediocre performances, especially considering, what Sebastian is actually capable of doing.
We've seen Red Bull boss Christian Horner, saying again that the possibility of Sergio Perez replacing Alex Albon, but nothing has changed with regards to the decision-making process. What do you think is going on in the Red Bull camp at the moment?
So Red Bull's philosophy has been to in-house their drivers. So that's why they have the Toro Rosso team, or now called AlphaTauri, and sort of they graduate. So they start off in AlphaTauri, previously Toro Rosso.
Come through the academy, basically.
Come through the academy. But I'm not sure how successful that academy program has been for them, because Toro Rosso, I think, has been in Formula 1 since 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. And I think the two noticeable drivers who stand out for them would be Max Verstappen, number one, and Daniel Ricciardo. Other than that, we haven't really seen. We've seen a lot of drivers come to Red Bull, but not many, retain their seats. So I don't know if Red Bull are still going to follow through with that same philosophy, in-house it. There is a lot of pressure that's been exerted through the media, through the fans, from Racing Point themselves making comments. Dr. Helmut Marko has got some decisions to make there, because everybody is now sort of championing for Sergio Perez to get Alex Albon's seat. And to be fair, as we discussed last week, Alex Albon has been below par in terms of his performances.
Yes,
and given the time frame that he's been given, we talked about a season and a half. So a season and a half he's been given, which is something like 24, 25 races, somewhere around there he's been given. So that's an ample amount of time. And as I discussed with you before we came on, he didn't even make a Q3 at Sakir. He finished sixth in the race.
Doesn't make the top 10.
Which many would have felt that, given Max is not in the race, given Leclerc is not in the race, given the Mercedes sort of tripped over their own tails.
They did.
You would have expected Albon to be up there gunning for victory, and that wasn't the case. So I personally would also like to see Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, because he's driving well. He's driving really, really well.
How long do you think this run of form could extend, though? Given his profile,
I think what Formula One drivers, to get into that prime spot alone takes so long. You'll see youngsters come in; they all have the potential, they have the talent, they have skills. That's the reason why they're in Formula One in the first place. But to get to that prime spot where you, as yourself, as a driver, you understand what you need to do during a race, during a qualifying, how you communicate with the team, your engineers, and your colleagues alike. That's very important. How long that prime slot would last for is anybody's guess. He could go 2-3 years, 4 years, whatever. We don't know. But it actually started from last year, and he's continued this year. And I would say this year has been much stronger for him than what last year has been. So he's really on a rise, and we can only hope that he gets a seat next year, because it would be really quite a shame. And I echo the sentiments of many who say this, that Sergio Perez definitely deserves to be in a Formula One car next year.
Interesting stuff. Now, obviously, we've highlighted Lewis Hamilton coming to Formula One. We've highlighted Valtteri Bottas. Your predictions for the next season now, as it unfolds, and looking at teams, how they are snapping drivers, etc. Who do you think are going to be the top 6?
Okay, so what next year? Obviously, there were scheduled plans for next year in terms of rule changes and regulations, but due to COVID, that's sort of been prolonged now to 2022. So effectively, we're running with very similar regulations for
the
2021 season.
Right.
And if we look at Mercedes, where they are in terms of their pace, they've been sometimes nearly 7-8 tenths of a second faster than the nearest rivals to them, which would be Red Bull or whoever else was in that mix. Well, Ferrari not really.
No,
Ferrari's been well below par. I think we've already touched that.
Okay,
the season.
but anyway, moving along from Ferrari.
No.
We know how critical you want to get.
It's not about being critical. It's I actually like I liked seeing Mercedes, seeing Ferrari going to battle, because it adds something to racing. I mean, if we just look at Mercedes running away with the field and taking every single pole position, you know,
There's no
but
challenge.
there's no real challenge. We only seeing their drivers compete. But I mean, you look at the likes of Charles Leclerc. I mean, he's got so much of potential. You give him a car that's capable of fighting for race victories against the likes of Lewis Hamilton. The whole ball game changes now all of a sudden. I mean, we want to now start tuning into the races more often than not. And you look, I've had a lot of discussions with people where they tell me, well, look, given how Mercedes have dominated this year, some of them don't even want to watch the Grand Prix anymore. So that's where that comment that I just made came in now. So we don't want to obviously lose viewership, and it's a sport that I love. I absolutely love Formula One, and I have since 2012. But I also love to see a good race. Yes, I would love to see Mercedes being the eventual winner, but I want to see a fight for that victory. So yes, we want.
Look, in all fairness, you want to see a challenge.
Yeah, we want to see Ferrari in that mix. We want to see Red Bull in that mix. And I've always said, if we can start to get Formula One to a point where the cars aren't so much of a
Look, it's going to be interesting to see Racing Point in the new season. I mean, with their team, with their tactics, with their driver acquisition, now it's going to be
it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, as I said, you got Aston Martin in there, so they've got some racing experience and experience there. They've got a wealth of experience there, and they've got now, as I said, Sebastian Vettel, who's going to lead them, will be the effective team leader there. So we could see Racing Point in that.
Awesome stuff, man. Yusuf Sahib, attorney Yusuf Sahib, thank you so much for your time tonight. Taking the time and taking Zakir's seat as well.
And I kept nice and warm for him as well. So
and that's where we leave the F1 topics for this I think. As obviously this is the final show of the year for me. For Friday Night Live with ST, and we'll be back inshallah in January. Also. Unfortunately next week I think we're having a webinar, but that will be to be announced as well. But anyway, having said that, thank you, man, for your time. And it'll be
I'll see you in the new year.
We'll chat again soon.
Yes, sir.
Well, you will see me before that. But anyway, having said that, it brings us now to about 42 minutes after 7 p.m. It's time for a quick ad break, and then we are going to be talking Tech Talk with Jan van Malen. We're discussing the new SA law, which means you may be jailed if you are to forward the following type of WhatsApp messages. Now, the cyber crime bill in South Africa, that is what we're going to be discussing. SA law, which means you may be jailed. Okay, that and more are still to come, so keep it locked to Sarah Media.